Hi guys, and welcome to Halftone Productions YouTube channel. Today we are officially launching our next campaign for 2021, which is the Super RBA Battle Armor Issue 4. Today we're going to be running through the campaign and talking to the creator of the series, Bradley Aiden. So before we jump into the actual campaign, I'll bring in Brad and we'll talk through the campaign. G'day Brad,
Hi.
thanks for joining in. That was really
Always
awkward.
a pleasure. Oh yeah, well, it's internet delays, you know.
How you doing, man?
Hey, do you want to try it again? We'll do the news anchor thing.
No.
Come on, greet me again.
Oh God, you just make it so awkward sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Welcome
hi.
out.
How you doing?
Idiot. Oh yeah. Brad, thanks for coming on and talking about the campaign. It's the second release for Halftone Productions in 2021. We've been working tirelessly around the clock to get this ready, especially you and Lewis.
Yeah.
But let's jump into it and talk about basically Super RBA Battle Armor for people who are new to the series and people who are wondering what it's all about.
Yeah, honestly, it's a superhero story about a young man who can bring people back from the dead and what the consequences are going to be for that. Going into issue 1, we started off introducing all of our characters, setting up the scenes and the settings, and issue 2 was much more of that. Issue 3 is when stuff starts to get the ball rolling, and we're hitting the ground running with issue 4, and there's going to be some really cool reveals.
Yes, well, I mean, they've been building for the last 3 issues, and it's kind of getting to the point where the story is it's more action driven. I feel with reading the script than the past 3 issues, because there's obviously we're building to something here, and you've been teasing that, which I think is really exciting. That now we're starting to see that kind of expand into further issues.
Yep.
So
I'm noticing. Oh,
sorry,
sorry.
you go. No, you go.
I've noticed with my own like scripts post writing them all and getting this one into production that it does feel like all 4 issues are going to be like the first sort of encapsulated arc of the story. So I guess this would be the end of the prologue, essentially.
Yeah.
Like the origin story, I guess.
And it kind of branches out there because, like, we've met the characters, we know who they are, and where we're going from there is kind of like it is definitely going to dive deeper into what the integral story is about.
Yeah.
Going into this issue, Brad, obviously you're writing it, and the integral thought process behind it, was there any challenges with that?
Not really. I mean, I've kind of gotten to the point with my characters now where I can drop them in any sort of situation and they kind of just act out everything by themselves now.
Yep.
Because I know them so well, and I know what makes them tick. They just kind of live on the page. The biggest hurdles that I face when writing the story is whether or not it makes sense.
Yeah.
And just tweaking what those characters are doing on the page to make sure that it narratively makes sense from panel to panel.
Yeah, and it is. That's the kind of the structure you've got to go through when you're writing any comic book script. You have to really figure it out whether it's going to interpret well on the panel or the page, for that matter. Just kind of finding that balance between writer and illustrator when you're working in a team like yourself with Lewis, and the back and forth. The process with that, Brad, how do you find going through that with Lewis?
Oh, look, Lewis is great. He is so very patient with me, especially when I have many edits and redraws that need to be done. We've practically gotten completely past whatever language barrier that there once was.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we both work so well together. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and it does show
He's
in the actual comic itself. It shows that there's a good balance between you both and how you kind of bounce off each other. For people who aren't familiar with Lewis's work, how did you come across Lewis and that process of building that relationship with him?
I actually used an internet artist forum called Upwork
Yep.
and put out a job posting on that, and had quite a few people apply for the position, which was so weird being on like the the other side of like I guess a job interview.
Yeah.
Especially for something like this. So it was a cool experience. It felt almost like a casting couch sort of scenario, and had I think a short list of about 4 or 5 different artists.
Yeah, of course.
Which, who knows, I may work with them doing something in the future. Not really sure, but the platform is there. It is really, really handy to be able to work with artists on the other side of the planet that we would have never had the opportunity to work with before.
Yeah, I think the idea of places like Upwork, it kind of gives the artists leverage to be able to go, well, okay, well, there's not enough work going around here, but let's see what else is happening out there. And it also gives the chance for them to, one thing, be paid, because it's an industry that a lot of artists don't get paid well, or they don't get paid at all. And I think that's important. I think they need to be looked after. And it kind of, I've used that application for web and whatever it may be, and it does really help get that kind of thing out there to people that might not be able to use to be able to network within an audience they might not be familiar with. So it is a really cool tool, and from what you've done with Lewis previously and how that relationship is built, it's really cool to see that. And at the same time, you've also been able to work with a few other artists in the process to be able to create short stories and artwork of your series.
Oh man,
how's that been?
Logan and Mission are amazing to work with. Logan, I think, is closer to Melbourne based, where Mission's a bit further north, up closer to our way. And honestly, they're both so fantastic and easy to work with. If you have a look on our Kickstarter, there's artwork from both of them. Logan actually helps me do a lot of the character concepting. So for either new characters or redesigns for their outfits, or even the Super Ready battle armor itself, Logan helped me design that.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, the concept artwork that Logan puts through is fantastic, and the work that Mission's done on the posters and stuff is fantastic. And doing tables with you when we were doing conventions, it obviously the people's response to her work on the wall is resounding. It's amazing to see that kind of response from them. It's such a small series. It's an indie comic book, so it's not well known, but the fact that people are coming to you and saying, that work is phenomenal. It's something else.
Yeah, and their art speaks for themselves. Like it's just next level, man.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
We probably have actually forgotten one other person that does artwork in Team SRBA, and that would be yourself. So how is it working with me, just like reversing the interviews roles?
You're a pain in the butt. No, it's fun to be able to, because like manga's not, and you obviously we've got we enjoy comic books, but obviously my background is the Western comic book world, and yours is very much the manga Eastern side of it. So more recently, since I've known you, I've got into manga reading, and I do enjoy it. Apart from reading backwards, it's my crux. but it's still it's kind of really cool to see. It's kind of cool to be able to be a part of it and kind of work my style into what you've created here. So that's really fun for me. Look, I'm all up for doing some more in the future, but for the time being, I think I'm just happy just doing my own little thing. But it's still it's a lot of fun being a part of it with Lewis, with the other guys as well. That's the important thing, and I enjoy working with you all.
Do you have a favorite character?
Of course I do.
I know who the answer is.
Well, come on, man. You should know that. It's Susan. It's the little character that's on our banner here. She's my favorite. Since the concept was conceived, I mean, yeah, the dumbest character, but the most fun. The entertainment of the series offers a laugh, which I think, for me, that's, for a guy that wrote The Talking Bread, I mean, that's right up my alley.
Yeah. It's weird, though, like, with Susan, she's she plays two roles in, in old style Japanese comedy. They had the funny man and the straight man on the stage together. Susan kind of encapsulates both of those, as well as playing both of those roles with Insanus, who also sometimes plays both of those roles. So they're both very versatile in their stupidity and humor.
Yeah, that's perfect. Insanus is my second favorite character. Well, who's your favorite character out of your series?
Insanus. He's just easy to play. Yeah, he's just so easy and fun to write.
Yeah. I nearly said they could have their own spin-off series, but that's just me.
They probably could. They probably could.
They definitely carry their own series. We'll build the.
There may or may not be something in the works already.
There you go, guys. Go and check out the Kickstarter. Go and support it, because it means more that we get here, the more that we can make, and that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Brad, well, that's a really cool little expose onto what the Super RBA Battle Armor world is, and where you've been working, and I mean the team that you've worked with and that you've built over the last 3 to 4 years is great, and it's great to see that progress happen and continuously release more issues. It's not easy publishing independent comics, as we all know, and any support that's given by the people who back it or share it, it's much appreciated. We'll dive into the Kickstarter now. It's just gone live, which is great, and I'll bring it up. A second. Why can't I bring that up? There we go. So yeah, the Kickstarter launched, was it 15 minutes ago now? Sorry, my computer is playing up. Anyway, here we go. So yeah, we've got a target of $1,999 for the next 30 days. So it runs throughout the whole month of May. So it's going to be mayhem. And from there, I'm just going to try and fix this so actually we can all see it, because I feel as though we can't see it. There we go. That's better. So yeah, it's scrolling down. We've got the story of Super RBA Battle Armor along with the teaser video that we saw at the start of this live stream, and we also have the story, a preview of the cover, which Lewis's artwork is bloody phenomenal. He's done an amazing job with this one, bringing it all together.
He has knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
as usual.
Yeah, and I mean, it's an action scene. It kind of grabs you right there, and you're kind of enticed to go and check it out and read what it's all about. So, which is a lot of fun to see that come to life. I remember seeing the idea you had for the first time, and you pitched that to me, and then let's see what it looks like, and then Lewis coming back with the artwork, and the progression and stages he went through was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
So the synopsis, Brad, just want to give us a bit of a run through of the synopsis for Super RBA Battle Armor Issue 4, Lady of Light.
So, Super RBA Battle Armor issue 4 continues the anime-inspired comic following Eclair while she tries to find answers to her brother's disappearance and potential murder. We get a glimpse at her past and even BA's true name. We check in on Infector to see how he's dealing with his newly used abilities, and the torment of the past creeps up on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's definitely following down the trail of the last 3 issues and diving deeper into what's eventually going to lead out to the teaser we've seen in issue. I'm going to say issue 1. I'm a mental blank right now.
The first 2 pages.
Yeah. So we see there, and we get a preview of what is happening in that. Here we go. So this is the exciting part. We've got some pages to show off today of the issue. So these are some that Brad was lettering yesterday evening. So they are a little rushed. So excuse the scatteredness of the lettering, but he's been able to smash it out nonetheless.
Yes, there are a couple of pages in there that are a little bit rough.
Yeah,
but they will be all fixed by
exactly. Yeah, so it's not the finished art. We are working on getting those reworked, and they'll be refined on the release of this issue.
Just to give you a rough idea.
Exactly, yeah, and it gives you a bit of the story and what's going on within Super RBA Battle Armor issue 4. And they said 3 then. I was like, issue 4. So here you've got the pages that go through there nicely. Again, Lewis and your work bounces off perfectly together, which is great. And yeah, you keep going down. We've got some more work here. Yeah, I like how your little pages are not final art.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that people know that. And then we've got the spread page, which it insanely looks awesome. I always fall head over heels when it comes to a spread page. And Lewis has been able to, and yourself, you've been able to build a sequential page to overlap with each other, which is really cool. And having it come together like that is bloody awesome. So, yeah, I'm really excited by that. And I wish we could have it a bit larger, but obviously with Kickstarter, it's a little hard to do that. And
I'd love to be able to do it, like side by side.
And it's kind of hard because
like won't let it.
Yeah, with Kickstarter, they kind of have their ways of how they do it and how it all kind of pans out. But it's all, it is what it is.
I mean, it still looks great.
Yeah, it does. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Going further down, we'll talk about influences of what what your comic book is about and how it's kind of influenced from previous works that you like. We've got some representations there of different series that people may be familiar with. Just take us through that, Brad. What's inspired by this series?
So much manga, like so goddamn much. I at any given time I'm probably reading about 10 to 15 different manga, and so it makes it a bit hard to kind of have clear and far away winners in the sense of my inspirations. One that we probably left out, which is coming to mind now, would be One Piece, which that thing has been going for decades now. Like there's over 1,000 chapters. Like it's a very daunting thing to get into, but the story writing is just absolutely impeccable, and everything that man does just is an inspiration. And because of how cutthroat the industry is over in Japan, you do have a lot of projects that rise above others, but then you also do have the sad instances where something will get cancelled prematurely. But in saying that, I do also have some more Western influences, like in the way of Spider-Man from the Marvel universe. Even ironically, I didn't realize this at the time of watching it, but Big Hero 6, which is another Marvel product, which probably has one of the bigger influences on me in terms of setting, where because it's San Francisco or something along those lines, where it's the meshing of the two styles, which was always something that I had intended of doing in the earlier stages of the series, and seeing it on such a scale done in Big Hero 6 was just awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
And they did such a really fun adaptation of the original comics. Not that I've read them, so.
And I think that's the great thing about manga, is it kind of bounces off well in the interpretation of how they do it. That they kind of lean against each other, and they might change things to interpretate each other maybe more or better than what it was originally done. And I think that's important. And it's good to see, you've kind of bounced back to a little bit of Western comics as well, being that the Super RBA Battle Armor is printed in an American format. Rather than being a traditional manga style comic where it's the other way around. I won't say backwards, because it's not backwards. So yeah, it's kind of cool to have that there, and I think that's important to kind of represent that to your audience and see that where they know where this story's kind of evolved from, and your influences in creating something like Super RBA Battle Armor.
Yeah.
Sure. Further down, we're going to go through the rewards now. You've got a few rewards on offer. Basically, there's a lot of stuff that we normally do on our Kickstarter campaigns, and there's also a lot of new stuff that we haven't done for Super RBA Battle Armor, which we might have done previously in the campaigns for other releases in Halftone Productions. But we've got the digital tier, which is always great for people who would rather read their comics digitally on tablets. And also overseas, because shipping is such a killer at the moment. But we also have the printed edition, which is always exciting. I'm always physical over digital. Further down, for anyone who's interested in Brad's writing and wants to get an idea of where it all stems from, you can grab the script and the comic. So that would be really cool if you're interested in looking at how it all comes together between Lewis and Brad.
I think it sounds weird saying it because it's my script, but I like how the script for the comics isn't always one-to-one to the actual finished product as well. Like even in reading your scripts and then reading the final product, it's very interesting to see what gets cut, what gets added, and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
I find that really interesting.
Yeah, I think I've sent a few out in the past campaigns, and it's been really interesting, the feedback on that and how it all transpires. I mean, more so with the project we've recently done with the Apparition, going back through that, being such a different way of writing a script again, and going through and changing it as I illustrate pages. It's been a really kind of not setback, but more so a step backwards on how I work on that kind of stuff, and to see that evolve over the last few years of working and creating comic books, it's really it's fun. It's really, really fun to look back on it and go, okay, well, that's definitely changed to how I was originally doing it. So if you're interested in getting an actual script from the series, that tier is really worth the money. If you're looking to get in, or you just want to find out how Brad does it, then definitely jump onto that one. Going on further, we've got the digital collection. So you can grab, if you're new to Super RBA Battle Armor, and you want to pick up the digital versions of the comic to read on your tablet device, then this is perfect. You get the first 3 issues, and you get the 4th issue included in that too. So 4 issues for $16, which I think is really cool for value. And plenty of
it's basically
there.
Like half price of the printed stuff.
Shh, don't say that. Further on down, we've got for people who are interested in covering their walls and posters, this is definitely one that you'll enjoy. You get the limited edition Susan A full print, and you get a copy of the printed edition of Super RBA Battle Armor issue 4.
And then our
now
favourite.
This is my favourite. Finally, we're going to do an enamel pin for Super RBA Battle Armor because we've been talking about doing this for so long, and previously with my campaigns, we have done this for the majority of them. But now we're finally taking the leap with Super RBA Battle Armor, and we're going to do a Susan pin. So this one is really cool. You get a Susan pin that will be, it's a hard enamel pin, which means that it'll be nicely coloured, and the finished product is fantastic with the guys that we've got working on the ones for the Apparition at the moment and previous ones for In Purgatory. So they're going to be doing these ones as well. And you get the comics. So I mean, it's a really cool bundle if you really like collecting pins and comics. So yeah, if you really do like Susan, like I do, definitely pick up this one. Next down, we've got the retail bundle. So this one is for anyone who is a comic book retailer that is interested in picking up Super RBA Battle Armor. Now, looking at this bundle, also, if you're new to the series, you can contact Brad or myself and ask about getting the previous issues in store. We're always happy to cater to the comic book stores and putting our work out there amongst the other giants in comic books. So if you're really interested in that, jump onto that one. Next down is Tier 8. So this is for someone who is new to the series again, but wants the physical copies of the comic. You'll get all
pin.
3, and the pin as well. I was going to say that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just cut me off there. Just rude. But you also get the first 3 issues of Super RBA Battle Armor, which I haven't mentioned, but we're nearly out of stock on those. So I think this Kickstarter will be the last time that these will be printed. Quite possibly. So if you're really into getting single issues, the floppies, then definitely jump onto this one. This one's cool. You're going to get all 4 issues of Super RBA Battle Armor, including the new issue, and then also you'll get the Susan pin, which was just talked about to quite some extent, because it's my favourite character, if I haven't already mentioned that. So yeah, and also you get the signature from the creator. So Brad will sign all these comics for you. So they are eventually going to be a collector's item. Tier 9 is the Halftone Production digital bundle. So this is one that includes the majority of the releases from Halftone. So you'll get obviously the new issue of Super RBA Battle Armor. You'll get the past editions of Super RBA Battle Armor. You'll also get the Talking Bread series, the Rise of the Talking Bread anthology, and you'll also receive the In Purgatory series, which is ongoing at the moment. Which is really cool. Again, if you're new to Super RBA Battle Armor and you want to check out the other work from Halftone Productions, jump onto this one. It's really cool. It's, for people who just would rather read a comic digitally, it's well worth the money. Jumping down again, we've got the Halftone Productions
printed bundle
collection. Yeah, it's the collection. So what you're going to get here is you're going to get all the comics printed and sent to you. So there are 3, 6, 9, 12, 17 comics. You're going to get 17 comics for $100, which I think is pretty cool. Again, these are limited now, so Talking Bread's just about all gone. Super RBA Battle Armor, again, it's nearly all gone. These will all come signed as well. And yeah, it's really cool for someone who's a collector and who enjoys getting the indie comics that are in floppy format or single issued. But yeah, I think that's for someone who really enjoys it, really cool to get, and you get a piece of history. And then jumping into a final one. This is the Cameo bundle. This one's exciting. So, Brad, do you want to explain this one a little bit more?
You can get yourself in the comic.
There you go.
So there's only 2 spots available. So limited to 2 different spots. You'll be drawn in to a couple of pages that I've set aside, and you'll also receive basically like a caricature. Oh God, I can't speak. of yourself in the style with a couple of like, it's basically like a character bio type layout.
Yeah, it's a really cool bundle to get, and if you do like that kind of stuff, then it's well worth the money. Just to elaborate on that one too, Brad, is that the fact is that we're still producing this comic. Kickstarter obviously gives us the chance to publish it worldwide, that maybe something like a website or just releasing it into the wild wouldn't do. And part of the reason we keep coming back to Kickstarter is that it is such a vast audience on here, and we're very appreciative of people that support it and support it from all around the world. And it doesn't really matter what part of the world it is, we're sending it out everywhere. And that's really cool to see. But this also allows us to pay the artists, pay the people who collaborate and contribute to the series, which is important as well to us. So that this bundle, I feel, it is really cool. You are going to be in an actual comic book. You're going to be included in it. You're going to have a caricature created for the comic book. And that in itself is really cool. I've been fortunate enough to do it a couple of times in my releases, and people really do enjoy getting that piece of artwork along with a piece of history. And also, you get all the other comics involved in it as well, which is freaking awesome too. And the Susan pin again.
True.
We do have add-ons, so this time Kickstarter has made things a lot more easier for people who want to do add-ons on their pledge. They might see something that is not included in one of the bundles, and they can add that on. So they've really made that choice easier for everyone. So that's
if
cool.
You want an extra pin, or your specific bundle doesn't come with one, you can just add it on in. If you think that your friend will like a copy of issue 1, you can add that on there as well.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's really, taking the work out of it that we used to do, how we had to used to message people and back and forth, and it's a lot easier for everyone now, both the creator and the people who are backing it. It just makes life a lot more simpler, which is good, because it's a very complex process that creating a Kickstarter. Further down, we've got the stretch goals. Now, these ones, we've got some really cool stuff organised, but we're not going to tell you. We'd rather keep it a secret and get the Kickstarter funded, and then once we've hit our funding goals, we can do this.
Got big stuff in the works, though.
But it is, and that's the thing. We try to make sure that we really do cool stuff for our rewards. I've just realised there's a mistake on the first reward, but that's alright. I can fix that. So yeah, there's some really cool stuff on offer, and we've been working hard on getting this all together, like most of the Kickstarter campaign itself. But stay tuned as we hopefully will smash out our target goal and unlock some of these goals. And it means that everyone, whether it's physical and digital, there'll be something for you guys. It's basically free stuff on top of what you're already getting. It's just about how much we can get our campaign out there and how much you guys can, share it, support it, whatever it may be. It's all appreciated.
It's just adding more value to your money, essentially.
Exactly. You're getting more bang for your buck. The characters, nice little collage of our characters here. Brad, do you want to just run through those for everyone that's listening?
Absolutely. We've got Agent Claire, who is our secret agent, who's taking a bit more of a primary role this issue. Violet, our Denki girl, who is super into engineering and sewing and other things. BA, which is, without giving too much away, as you've probably seen in the trailer, gets resurrected in this episode. And my poor boy Hawk, who is currently being interrogated / tortured. Yeah, he's not having a good time at the moment.
No, he's
poor little man.
The punches and kicks to him. So yeah, that's there you go, guys. That is the little tease for you. Don't give away anymore, Brad. You give away the whole story.
Nah.
So there's a nice little array of characters. We've got some of Minjin's work here, which is cool. Some of her prints that she's done previously for other Kickstarters and just for teasing the characters, which is really her work speaks for itself. Further on down, we've got the creative team. Now, we've already talked about part of this today, but we do have a bit more here. It's a bit more elaborated upon Brad's work and what he's worked on. Also, Lewis's stuff. And then there's other guy. I don't know who he is. Who cares about that?
He's a pretty cool dude, though.
Yeah, that's all right. We don't need to go. I'm too modest for that. Basically, here we've got a breakdown of the campaign. And what everything is. It shows you guys how your pledges are going to be added towards building this project and kind of getting it out to the public. So 40% for production costs, 25% shipping and packaging, 10% for Kickstarter fees and residuals, and then the creative costs. So the cost of paying everyone who is involved in this campaign, which is important. Again, we like to make sure that everyone's getting paid for their work, and that it's a fair game for all. Now here is our packaging and handling. I wanted to break down this one, especially for the last few, because it's been quite difficult in amongst the pandemic. We wanted to make sure that everyone understands how this all works. Yes, pricing has gone up for shipping, but mostly because we're making sure that everything's getting tracked now. We want to make sure that everyone gets their rewards, whether you are from the United States, you're from Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Asia, wherever it might be on the planet, you'll get your reward and it will be tracked. We have had, sometimes there's situations where parcels do get lost in transit, but at least now we're making sure that everything's, every I is dotted and every T is crossed. So yeah, you'll get your shipping order once the campaign is finished and funds have been transferred. We'll send out a via suitable courier, so we'll find one that's best for the area that's going to, and then hopefully we'll have a destination time and arrival for you guys, so you know when it's coming and you can be notified to when it's arriving on your doorstep, which is very important. We want to make sure that everyone is getting their reward, and the pricing of the Kickstarter in itself is important as too. Brad, did you want to add anything to that one?
No, I'm pretty sure you actually covered everything.
Yeah, this part is pretty important, because if we're not getting our rewards to people, they're not going to be coming back for future projects, and that's pretty quintessential. That's something that we've learnt throughout this program. It's really important. Vice versa for stuff that we've backed we've never seen. Which sometimes sucks, but we want to make sure that everyone gets their reward. There's no gimmick here, where we generally want to make sure that everyone gets their reward. Further down, we've got some testimonials, and just to look back at what we've done previously. So we've fortunate enough had both issue 1 and issue 3 backed on Kickstarter successfully, which is great. Issue 1 being 104% funded, and then issue 3, which is 119%. And issue 2, which you funded yourself, Brad, you took out your own money from your pocket and funded that one. And that's proof that, we're willing to work hard to get what we want out of this campaign. And then further down, we've got some other things to remember about the campaign itself. So just remember that these things, there are certain guidelines and certain things that are done differently to what it would be whether you're buying something online. And we've got some of Logan's awesome artwork here and another picture of Susan. So that's basically the Kickstarter campaign, guys. Please go and check it out. I'm going to add it in here, and we're going to make sure that you can go and check it out now. It's really important that we make sure we can get everything nutted out properly on. Sorry, I'm trying to type and talk at the same time, which is harder than it looks. So basically we want to make sure that we really mesh out everything so that you know what you're adding your funds to, which is really important. And we don't want to, make things muddy. So that's been really important and integral into this campaign, or all our campaigns from now and onwards. But yeah, that's the campaign. Go and check it out if you can. We've been working tirelessly to get this ready, haven't we, Brad?
Absolutely.
And we do appreciate
things right up until the end.
Yeah. and we do appreciate the support that you guys give. It is important. It helps get these campaigns funded. But on that note, do you have anything else to add to this, Brad?
Not off the top of my head, apart from I can't think of anything.
We have been going for 40 minutes now.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just happy for people to have a look at my work, share it around to their friends, and if they are willing to back, then you have my complete gratitude for helping me achieve everything that we have so far.
Yeah, that's important. We do appreciate the support that everyone gives within these campaigns, and we're working hard now. It's going to be a chaotic month. It's going to be a mayhem of a May, and we hope to be able to get this all funded and out to you guys as soon as possible.
Would you say it's going to be mayhem?
It's going to be mayhem. So yeah, we're looking like we've got a few backers now. So if you can please pledge towards it, it's important to get this funded and get it across the line. We do enjoy making these comics and getting them out to our readers. But I think we'll wrap this up now. It's been a really great experience to be able to talk to you about this project and have Brad on to talk about it. We'll be doing more of these later on throughout the campaign, so feel free to join in again if you'd like. We're posting on our Facebook and Instagram and Twitter accounts. I've popped the link in the chat there. Excuse me. I'll pop the link in the chat so you can check out the Kickstarter campaign. Again, we do appreciate it if you can follow it and share it around and support it. And thank you once again for checking out this. Brad, do you have anything further to say before we finish up this stream?
Just thank you again.
Again and again.
Again, I cannot thank you enough, honestly.
That's the important thing. All right, guys, thank you again for joining in. We'll be back again hopefully soon with another live stream from Halftone Productions. Thank you.
Cheers.